Hey everybody, welcome back to the Perfect Portfolio again. And we were just talking with one of our students, and he's just having a lot of fun with the Perfect Portfolio course. And wanted to break. He was saying he wanted to give us a testimonial about his experience with the course. Anyways, Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. We want everybody wants to hear what your background is, and just tell us about yourself.
Yeah, no problem. My name's Andrew. I'm from Southern California. I am currently an airline pilot for a major U.S. airline. I'm based out here in LAX right now, and I kind of growing up, I was kind of always knew there was a lot of education about money and financial education, and yeah, I'm just really excited to be right here right now and kind of give you my whole story.
Awesome, very cool. Well, so obviously, you were when did your family move to California? Because I was in California, I knew there's lots of taxes there, but when did your family move to California?
My family were born and raised out here in California, so I kind of knew nothing better than California and the taxes and the living expenses. So I've always just been used to it. It wasn't actually until I moved out of state for schooling, and it was actually in Arizona that I realized how big of a change and how kind of different states and different areas are succumb to the whole tax situation and financial, I guess, intricacies of the U.S. So it was really cool.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Good. Well, so when you were growing up, did your family talk about finances or taxes or anything around the kitchen table, or what were the lessons that you learned about money in your
Growing up, it was mostly about, get a paycheck, put 15%, 10% into your savings and put the rest into your 401k, get the match and just grind every week and hopefully when little by little that 401k will just continue to grow and hopefully when you turn 60, 65, you'll be able to retire.
Wow, that's
So
exciting. So, all right, that's cool. I mean, that's in the course. There's 7 levels of financial IQ. Did you come in at like level three, which would be
it
like
was
the
three. I would say
level
level
three?
level three. Yeah, I was barely learning about Roths and
Okay.
how it was advantageous. I was essentially at that point was able to start filling up my 401k a decent amount, and I was like, oh, okay, well, what's the next step? And yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of when I stumbled around the course.
Cool. So filling up a retirement account to retire at 65, huh? Whatever. All right, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's most of the country, and we created this company because of that, right? When I was a financial advisor, that's all the cookie cutter advice people were giving. So, and how did you come across the perfect portfolio?
Well, after I was kind of like discovering, what was I was, curious, what was after the 401k, what was Roth conversions, and I just started reading books. And one of the books that I kind of stumbled upon, actually, I think the book you came out was Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes.
Yeah.
Came out in January, and I stumbled upon it in like March or February, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the book. I think it was one of my fastest reads.
Okay.
I enjoyed everything you said in the book, and actually led me to read the rest of your books.
Ah,
And after I read all of the rest of your books, I kind of continued on with the waterfall effect into kind of looked into your social media and your company, and then that's when I started reaching out to see what else can I learn because I really enjoyed all the information you were giving out there.
awesome, dude. That's great. Well, cool. So we've obviously have a lot of different strategies. We have stocks, ETFs, real estate, life insurance, crypto, gold and precious metals. What specific strategies on the course did you feel have the most, dramatic impact on your financial future?
Yeah, I think just setting up your certain portfolio depending on your situation and trying to get started and start moving forward towards your that goal. I think you did a really great job of just baby stepping the first steps to help you really roll that next step into a very really big wheel that's constantly turning for you. So I think the setup of the portfolio was probably the most important part, at least for me.
Awesome, awesome, goal. And any personal stories about like, something that happened in the course of, that kind of changed your financial outlook? Anything personal
Yeah,
happen?
I think if I'm allowed to talk about the borrow button a
Yeah,
little bit
totally,
here,
man.
yeah,
Absolutely. Love
I
the borrow
think
button.
yeah, yeah, it was kind of realizing that what once you have a portfolio set up and kind of start tuning into what you're trying to achieve, using that borrow button, using that essentially a line of credit off of your portfolio to help really enhance and waterfall your portfolio to even greater heights than you could possibly think of. That was probably the greatest or the coolest lesson that I learned.
Yep.
Was now I'm using it to my advantage to not only buy more securities, specifically like ETFs, but other security or other assets in different realms in the U.S. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm just now starting to use more of that bar buddy now. So it should be looking pretty great for me.
Cool. So if you're feeling, it sounds like you're feeling comfortable with borrowing money, right? Because I know pilots make pretty good money, so you're probably paying, if you borrow, you avoid income taxes, right? So that's a pretty good thing, right? So understand
Right.
that. So that's cool. That's good. Well, everyone goes through that. I went through it myself, so I understand that. So when you came into the course, at what did you, is there a date where you're like, oh man, I'll be financially free by this age or date? Was there a date like that? And then how has that changed?
Yeah, I mean, like kind of like what I said earlier, just put some money in your 401k, you retire at 65, and like that was it. There was no early retirement. That was just like, well, if you don't make any dumb reinvestments, as long as the market's doing good, then you'll be able to retire with X amount. And there was no outlook of retiring early, before to say. But after discovering the portfolio and seeing how the different strategies are able to play in borrowing to buy other assets, and those assets growing and compounding on top of each other year over year. I mean, just it's changed my outlook from 65 to I have a goal of 45, so almost 20 years difference to of a retirement age is exponential.
Awesome, awesome. And is your primary vehicle for retiring a retirement account?
It is not anymore.
Okay, that's cool. Awesome. So 20 years, so 45. I think we could do it faster. I mean, it depends on how much money, but I think we could do it faster, but we'll see.
Hey, I
Okay,
won't be upset if we do it faster.
that's it. And how do you see your life changing in the next 12 to 24 months just by what you learned in the course?
It's more the compounding effect that is the most exciting, or that I see the most change in the next 12 to 24 months. Kind of like what I talked about earlier. It's not a quick scheme. It's time and rules and effort. But if you stay the course, then it's only exponential from there. So in the next 12 to 24 months, I get a lot. I can see my life getting a lot less pressure with external factors, and at least because of the compounding of the money.
Awesome. Cool. Anybody you want to help now that you've learned all this stuff, right? Anyone you want to help? It could be church, charity, specific people, relatives, anybody specifically you want to help?
Yeah, I think mostly so with charities, and then other let's just say minorities in my field, just educating them how the different ways to go about money and education, and hopefully I get to the point that I help fund those different charitable organizations.
Awesome. Very cool. Love that, man. I just I recognize that because I was, it's a quick story. I've never mentioned this, but what always bothered me was I was in Los Angeles and I was building chimneys with my dad, right? And I met all these really, really wealthy people, right? All these super wealthy investors. You know what? No one ever said to me, "Hey, kid, you want to learn something about investing?" And I was always like, it always bothered me. I was like, "Holy, all
Right.
these super wealthy people working in their homes. Not once did they say, 'Hey, kid, you want to learn something about investing?'" And I was like, "Man, this is brutal, right?" But anyway, so I try and reach out to people too all the time. Some people listen. It's kind of cool. All right. So finally, reflect on your experience in the course. What advice would you give someone who maybe they're on the fence, they're considering the course? What advice would you give them?
My advice is to do it. At the very least, raise your financial education to see if it's the best course for you. But being on the other side and done the course, I 100% recommend.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, this strategy is not for everybody. I mean, honestly, it's not for everybody. We're not trying to convince anybody here, but it is a very fast way to legally avoid taxes, build wealth, compound it. And of course, Be Smart, Pay Zero Taxes was just endorsed by the former Comptroller General of the United States, David Walker. So for the skeptics out there, we had David Walker. So anyways, man, awesome having you in the course. We should maybe a year down the road or something check in and just see what
Yes.
your assets look like this, because I know we're doing some pretty complex legal tax avoidance strategies for you, and we'll just have some fun with this. So,
Yeah,
all right,
this
man,
should be
hey,
a great
thanks for being
year.
on the channel, and we appreciate having you on the course, man. It's been a lot of fun working with you.
Mark, it's been a great time. I can't wait. We're gonna have a great time here.